Good afternoon. Uh, First of all, I want to thank Chief Albert, the leadership of MPD, for the great work they've been doing in our city. I want to thank all of you for being here. Many of our leadership, all of our leadership, looks like, is here, as well as those that are doing the public's work right now in the streets of our fair city. I want to just thank them for all that they continue to do to help make this community safer and to help make this community better. I want to thank our community partners who are here. I see several here as well who help us every day to try to bridge the gap between the community and our police department. And I want to thank our city council for their support in what we have been trying to do as well. I know President Jen Wright is here, and we may have a few others that I don't see. But, when we decided to make the offer to Chief Albert, one of the things that we mentioned to him was that we would support him and give him all the resources that he needed to make this the best police department, not only in the city's history, but also in the state of Alabama and throughout this country. And we wanted to make sure that he knew that he had my unwavering support in doing those things that are necessary to make this community safe and to really make sure that we could be the best city we could be and also be the best department that we could be. And it wasn't a matter of if, it was just a matter of when Chief Albert would come and make his impression known, not only internally within the police department, but also within the law enforcement community and with our community at large. And I think since he has been here, and I know since he has been here, he has done just that because I've heard it. I've heard it from law enforcement professionals. I've heard it from former police officers. I've heard it from current members of our police department, as well as community leaders and those that are around the state. And that is great. That's something that we thought we had when we brought Chief Albert on to be the best-in-class leader that we wanted for a best-in-class department. But with that, there's a lot of work that you have to do, much like we wanted to do and had to do when we came in the city of Montgomery. We had to reorganize. We had to restructure the department because often people don't understand the operations of an entity and how you get the desired outcome and the results that you're looking for. And we've had several conversations with Chief Albert about what he thought needed to be done. And as his thoughts went to definites, we wanted to make sure that we could not only share that internally with the men and women of Montgomery Police Department, but also with our community. Because this is just as important as anything else that we do. Having the right structure, having the right organization to meet the needs and necessities of today, tomorrow, and beyond are as, if not more important than what we have done in the past. And Chief Albert brings that experience. He brings that level of analysis and detail that is needed, and that level of leadership to have the credibility to do that, to make those changes. And as with anything, not everybody enjoys change. We all want the results of change, whether that is losing a few pounds, but that means you got to give up a little something. Or that means seeing certain results in other ways. That means we have to change our behaviors and we have to change our practices. Change is hard, but change is often necessary. And change is necessary right now for us to get the outcome that we want in our city. And that's why we wanted to make sure that Chief Albert had the support of not only my administration, but also the city council and many community members to do what is needed behind the scenes so that in the community we can get the results that we all want to see, which is a safer and a better Montgomery and a safer and better community overall. And so with that, I want to turn it over to Chief Albert to come up and share some of his decisions of why he's making the restructure right now and what that will look like and what the impact will be. So, Chief, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon. I'd first like to thank Mayor Reed and his administration for their continued support for the men and women of the Montgomery Police Department. Again, to the council, Mr. Jenwright, the entire mayor staff, Mr. Hill, and everyone from the Montgomery Police Department here in the audience, thank you for continuing to support this agency. From the onset, Mayor Reed has made it very clear that public safety is this administration's top priority. I would also like to acknowledge and thank the community for their continued support, because we do not get where we need to be without their help. We are in this together, and what the community does make a difference. We are 115 days in under my leadership here at the Montgomery Police Department, and I humbly acknowledge we have made progress in terms of service we provide, visibility, crime reduction, and solvability rates. From day one of my installment, every contact, every meeting, every conversation was an evaluation process. It was an evaluation opportunity, and I did just that. One thing that deserves highlighting is the level of talent this department has. This department is just one of 5% of agencies in the United States that's accredited by CALEA. And they've been so since 2018. And what that demonstrates is how our men and women are engaged, they provide quality service within the policy and the law, and they meet top standards. Reorganization at the Montgomery Police Department is fully underway. I have restructured the divisions to create, 1, a better span of control, 2, better accountability, 3, greater efficiency, and 4, better workload distribution. The individuals selected have demonstrated the leadership I am seeking, the energy and the knowledge needed to advance this agency. But it doesn't stop there. This team will identify, mentor, and train our next leaders. There's a combined 62 years of experience with this team and 94 years when you factor in my years of service in law enforcement. This team has worked in most agencies, most units within the Montgomery Police Department, and they have a wide array of experience. I welcome them to their newly appointed roles, and together we will keep moving forward. So in closing, I promised and will remain tough on crime and kind on community. I'd like to introduce you now, Cedric Dean, Chief of Staff. John Hall, Chief of Investigations. And Denise Barnes, Chief of Operations. Again, I will give each of the newly appointed individuals an opportunity to come up and share their vision with you. We'll start with Chief Dean.
Good afternoon. I am humbled and honored to be here today to serve as Chief Albert, Chief of Staff in the Montgomery Police Department. Most of you all know me. I've been doing this position or been in this position for about 2.5 years. I look forward to serving the community, serving our police department and the men and women that we work with every day. But I am prouder and honored for the selection of Chief Albert of our newly Deputy Chief Chief of Operation, as well as the Chief of Investigation. So I'm gonna let them speak more because they have their families here, and this is a great honor to work with them. Thank you.
I hear his speech.
I was going to take his. I'm going to tell you, I'm honored and I'm humbled to be here and have been selected for this position. And I want to thank Chief Albert and Honorable Mayor Stephen Reed for selecting me for this position to be the Chief of Investigations for the Montgomery Police Department. I look forward to working with the men and women assigned under my leadership and fully understand that the successes that are here are not mine, they are theirs, and they're the ones that will continue to do the work. And they're going to count on my leadership to be able to continue to have that success that they're currently enduring right now. I also fully understand that investigations conducted in Montgomery are going to impact areas outside Montgomery. And because of this, I'm continuing to look forward to work with our partners, with the state and the federal and the county in these investigations. These will allow us to have more complete investigations and allow us to have stronger investigations when they actually go to court. And also part of my new job is I'm going to oversee the River District area. And something that's in Montgomery is always of the utmost concern of ours is safety and the safety of the citizens of Montgomery. And we've already begun working with other departments in the city to make these venues safer when we have these large events. And I look forward to continue to work with those departments so that we can continue to make those venues safer when citizens can come and can enjoy themselves during those events. And again, I appreciate being selected for this position and the opportunity to serve the citizens of Montgomery.
Good afternoon. My name is Denise Barnes, and I'm humbled to accept the position of Chief of Operations with the Montgomery Police Department. I would like to thank Chief Darrell Albert and Honorable Mayor Stephen Reed for this privilege. This assignment has not come because of any great acts that I've done. This opportunity has been awarded to me because of my faith in God and my desire to passionately serve His people. In this position, I will work diligently each day to provide every resource available to the uniformed men and women of our patrol division. I believe that support from strong leadership would encourage our officers and enable them to perform to optimum levels to ensure safety to the citizens of Montgomery. After more than 20 years in police service with the Montgomery Police Department, this is not an introduction, but hello. Good to see you again. Throughout my career, I have been blessed with the opportunity to bond and to build partnerships with members of the community. I look forward to working with some new faces and reconnecting with familiar ones. Thank you.
That's a lot. So I'll wrap up with, to kind of give you an overview of something that the mayor and I and his administration talk about quite a bit, and that's some of the successes within the department. Overall, crime is down 19.97%, so 20% versus last year. We are down in 10 of the 12 categories that we are mandated by law to report to the FBI. And on the proactive side of the house, we recently conducted a roundup entitled Operation Washout with our partners from the U.S. Marshal Service and others. That netted 95 arrests with 112 charges, 39 guns taken off of our streets, with 21 of those guns fitting criteria for examination by the ATF. Just what I asked for when I came here was to have federal intervention. And we contacted 442 sex offenders. We were able to target 381, which resulted in 44 additional warrants being put out for those who neglect to be in compliance. Violent crime. We have 36 murders year to date, 36 too many. 26 of those murders are cleared by arrest. That's 3/4 of our homicides cleared by arrest. We are engaged with local, state, and federal partners. Of course, the U.S. Marshals, ATF, our friends at ALEA, Probation Parole, our DA, Darrell Bailey. We thank him for his continued support. As you've seen, $1.5 million bond on murderers is where we are now. Thank you, Darrell Bailey. We appreciate that support. And engagement, such as working with Parks and Recs, basketball, swimming, and movies for our youth. Coffee with Cops, community walks, walk and talks, community town hall meetings. And we are enrolling 2 folks in the GREAT program, Gang Resistance Education and Training, where 13,000 law enforcement individuals around the country have already received their training. We're going to have 2 individuals here within the Montgomery Police Department that's able to train the trainer and bring that program into our schools where it's needed most. So that's just a few things that we've done in the past few weeks, but I'll tell you, Mr. Mayor, we're keeping our foot on the gas and making progress in our city. Thank you for your support. I'll take a few questions if you have any. Ma'am.
What does it say to the morale of the police department to see that you get, that you encourage and you hire people from the inside that you promote? What does that do for the whole department?
Well, as I said in the beginning, every day was an opportunity for me to evaluate the talent, and we have a lot of talent in this department. So needless to say, it was a tough decision, but when I weighed the options on what my needs were and what the talent that these individuals brought to the table, it was clear for me where we needed to be. So I'm very happy that they each accepted the challenge. They understand what's going to be asked of them day in and day out, and they've accepted that. So what happens is, we've been working on managing the department with 2 deputy chiefs. When I looked at span of control and workload distribution, and actually reorganizing the department on each individual task, if you will, it kind of put things in certain buckets. We talk about the clearance rate for homicides and some of the things that's happening in our investigations unit. That's John Hall's shop. Chief Hall manages that very well, and he'll be able to put more focus and attention and accountability in that shop. With operations, we've been largely working without an operations section chief. We have one identified, and that's going to be, Chief Barnes. She's going to take that uniform patrol section. We've moved some assets into her area that needs to be focused on uniform patrol, response to calls for service, traffic accidents, and things like that, and refocused and redistributed some assets there. And of course, Chief Dean handles the logistics, the administrative side of the house. We have the jail under that section, and a lot of other administrative things to keep the department running as a whole. So I think it's a very well-balanced workload and span of control, and I'm looking for big things from this setup. That we didn't make any decisions just hastily. We looked at everything, evaluated where we were and where we needed to be, and took time to kind of see what was the best to serve the citizens of this city. And again, this is what the end result is, and this is going to help us more so with efficiency and putting the right people in the right places. But to all the men and women of the department, it sends a message to every one of the persons here, whether they're here today or just out on the street working for us, that there is opportunity here. And as I said in my speech a minute ago, our work does not stop when it comes down to mentorship and helping others rise to the level that they should be. And we're gonna push them, we're gonna promote them, we're gonna demand a lot from each and every individual here in this department. Thank you very much, sir.